And we begin tonight in Hong Kong, where police have defended an officer's decision to fire a live round into the air as an anti-government demonstration turned violent. 86 people have been arrested in connection with clashes in Kwun and Tsuen over the weekend. The youngest, just 12 years old. Police today called protesters violent rioters and say their demands are just an excuse for their crimes. The two sides were engaged in running battles in Tsuen district yesterday. Demonstrators at the front line were seen hurling bricks, petrol bombs and other objects at officers. Our correspondent Afifa Arifin tells us more.
Police have condemned the obvious escalation of violence which broke out across several districts in Hong Kong last week, and they said protesters cannot use these violent acts to justify their aspirations. More than 160 rounds of tear gas were used last weekend and nearly 100 rubber and sponge bullets were fired as well. Water cannons were deployed for the first time to disperse the crowd in Tsuen on Sunday. Police pointed out protesters are maliciously trying to injure police. They were armed with bamboo sticks, metal poles and petrol bombs which were thrown at the police and also damaged facilities in the districts they were protesting in. The police also shed some light on the incident at Tsuen when officer drew his revolver and fired a warning shot. They revealed that the group of officers were attending to a call that protesters were vandalizing shops and abusing shop owners when they were confronted with more than 100 violent protesters. Police said the officers' response was justified as many of the protesters had long sharp metal poles and were seriously attacking the officers.
I must emphasize the officers demonstrate great restraint. Their use of force was indeed necessary and reasonable. It was to protect any person, including our officers themselves, from death or serious bodily injury.
Hong Kong's pro-government lawmakers on Monday condemned violent weekend protests, urging demonstrators to stop unlawful violent acts and urged Chief Executive Carrie Lam to hold a genuine dialogue in order to resolve the crisis in the territory.
Most of the people living in the district would like to urge all this violence to stop because we don't want to see anyone hurt. We don't want to see all these violent acts to continue from days to day, from weeks to weeks.
But while in this very turbulent period, when we ought to have a genuine cross-ideology platform as a genuine dialogue, but at least you must invite those who can represent the whole range of political spectrum so that you have a genuine dialogue.
The pro-democracy lawmakers also strongly criticized police officers who drew guns and used water cannon trucks. They said that the government and the police should take responsibility for causing such hatred among Hong Kong's citizens. The tensions were an escalation in the summer-long protests, now entering the 13th week of protests with no signs of slowing down. Afifa Arifin, CNA, Hong Kong.